Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1.5 EU Championship. We're today for the sprint qualifying and sprint race event here in Saudi Arabia. Round 9 of the championship currently. Frantic sits in P2 right behind the championship leader of Samaxon. It's a close championship so far, with Frantic of course not making it to the last race, but they do come along now and they're going to continue to try and fight this one out. Samaxon looks like they might be able to take this victory in qualifying at least. DRS open for the final time. What's it gonna be here for Samaxon to top the times? It's gonna be a 27.7, and they've absolutely smashed that, getting a massive margin there over Frantic, Jericho Willis, the top 3 championship contenders, all one after another. A brilliant job right there with those guys. Samaxon's on pole position, as they were going pretty quick yesterday as well, taking it by 4 tenths. Frantic P2, Jericho Willis in P3. That's the rest of the grid, and we will go through the race director and we will sort all that stuff. We will be back in a bit for the sprint race. Ready, hold, go! Who's gonna get it into turn 1? We're away. It's Samaxon in pole and Frantic to the inside line, but I don't think they're gonna be close enough to really give it a fight. They come back around. They're onto the curb now. They have the inside line, and it's still side by side as they run to turn 4. But Samaxon will hold on eventually, further behind. There's a lot going on. We've got a bit of decent, it looks like, with the Ferrari. Hopefully they're good to go, but they're going down the order, lagging back and forward. Welcome back to F1.24, everyone. There's a bit of damage on that car and they're going to have to try and take it easy. That is very frustrating right there. We get through the first sector. Few cars have had a few issues, but we are now onto lap, we're still on lap 1. Jericho Willis, Frantic and Samaxon continue to lead the way.
Yeah, a lot of damage of flying wings at the back of the grid, and a lot of juggling for position. But so far the front has been clean and everyone stayed in their position except for PJ, who lost out a lot.
Indeed, sorry for the delay, just trying to sort that out, and hopefully we can get anybody that have left back into the lobby very soon. Is Frantic going to try and pressure in the early stages of this sprint race? I don't see why they would do. They've managed to get away with a lot of the drama here in Saudi. Are we going to see any overtakes behind? We're going to have the Aston Martin to the inside line. That's Peanuts on Verf. The 2 reserve drivers, higher tier driver, however, for Peanuts, they're trying to make some progress. They started further back down the order. So did Pursoon, who's also looking to try and make a move here. Are they going to go to the inside, or are they going to let this be for now? They do actually tap the rear end of Verf, as Verf, I think, was maybe trying to take caution behind Peanuts. We've got PJ smacking the wall on the exit. They get together quite nicely, and then Terence and Zanor unfortunately had to make those pit stops recently. Samaxon leads the way. I'm just going to have to quickly sort something out, so I will be back in a second, but you'll be able to hear Aishla.
Yep. Sadly, Jericho just missed out on the DRS whilst we have now Chocolate making a mistake, briefly yellow flag, but I think he's good to go. He does seem to have any wing damage, so he doesn't have to box and can just continue on his way. But yeah, Jericho just out of the DRS now, with Barry really close behind him. So I assume next straight Barry will go for the overtake and get his onto the podium.
Yep, it would be good, but it is, although a sprint race, still a long way to go. Lap 2 out of 9. We'll see what we can get from this race. As you can see, the top 2 are kind of on their way at the moment to try and sort the championship out between them. As I said, it is pretty close between them right now, so we'll see what they can do. 1 point difference according to your positions for the top 8 in the sprint race. We've got a couple of higher tier drivers. That's Peanuts, Bassoon and PJ, so anybody that finishes behind them will be promoted those positions accordingly. We've got the McLaren of Bassoon making that move ahead of Peanuts. Verf just sitting behind in this battle. Peanuts already got a time penalty, says Brothers Call. We'll see what they can do. But yeah, everything's kind of just a little bit more relaxed as compared to what we saw yesterday. Maybe there's a little bit more damage on a couple of cars, but still, it's pretty relaxed. We've got a couple of battles that have opened their way up on their own. We've got Barry, who is going to be going for that move to the outside line. Are they going to really try and swoop it round the outside? I think they are, but they're dead on the battery, which is pretty impressive. I think Jericho Willis backed off. They spot that as an opportunity. Does Rare Winter, who makes the move on the inside. That is a brilliant, brilliant job done right there. Jericho Willis just didn't want to fight it.
Yeah, what a racing. Beautiful move by Barry around the outside. It's a corner that it is possible at if you're confident enough. And you could see he was so confident with the car he has underneath him.
Indeed, it is a perfect job as we go through into the final few corners. Would we see Rare Winter try and make another move? I don't think we will. I'm not going to the top two because I don't think we're going to see anything spectacular happening until the last few laps. We've got Ver faking to the inside of the Aston Martin as Peanuts does actually allow that to happen, but we are going to get Rare Winter eventually looking to go for that move. They go to the outside. Barry moves in behind in the slipstream. They're going to stay ahead of Jericho Willis as Jericho was looking pretty late on the brakes, and Pursoon, as he didn't have a car directly in front of him, was able to catch up a massive amount under braking, and there's a big old train that has all of a sudden just formed, and now we've got a lot to play for. Pursoon trying to make their way through the order, but it's not exactly so simple as they start at the back of the grid, but they get a pretty good line compared to Jericho Willis. They ride the curb. The Jericho have maybe a bit of damage as they took a bit of an awkward line on entry. That slowed them down and has allowed Barry to break away, maybe even get the DRS range. I think they'll just hold on to it for now.
It would explain why Barry could overtake him around the outside so easily, but I want to briefly mention the top two because they did indeed switch around. Whilst we have a yellow flag behind who's now gone away again, I assume it was Brad School. But yeah, they switch around, but it seems like they are really close on pace and it will go to the last lap.
Indeed, I think it will do, but we've got a hell of a battle now. Everybody is getting incredibly close to one another. It is Rare Winter who leads this train, but from this angle of view, it looks absolutely awesome. We're not going to see anybody make an overtake. We are going to see the Aston Martin of Peanuts very, very close as they all just try and keep the grip on the circuit. It's a bit slippy around here. Simatson goes back into the lead, but who's going to come out on top here as they head to turn one? Jericho Willis is looking to the inside to maybe challenge, but no, it is going to be just Barry making that move. I think we did see Verve going defensive possibly on PJ. Nothing happens there. Big gap according to the cars behind. Unfortunately, Chocolada not able to stay with this train. They might have another opportunity later on, but lap 5 out of 9, we are coming to, I believe it or not, the closing stages as we have just passed the halfway point of this Grand Prix. So we'll see how it goes. Rare Winter getting a time penalty in the sprint race. That's not going to be any good.
No, he will drop back behind Pursoon, behind even Verve maybe and PJ. So it's not ideal that he got a penalty. And you could see now when Pursoon catches up to this train, even though he is probably quicker than the rest of this field, it's a real struggle to overtake in DRS trains and where you should overtake around this track, because there are a lot of DRS trains where you actually don't want to overtake the other car.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be really difficult as they are so close going through turn 22. And now they exit down towards the final few corners, towards the final corner, turn 27. And I don't know who's going to come out on top because we're going 3 wide as we go through the bends to the left, as the racing ball is just going to have to let it happen. We got Pursoon on the inside and that's going to take out Barry. I do not believe it. Pursoon tried to find the inside line. I think Rare Winter wanted to come across. I don't know if they've got damage. Jericho Willis has managed to get ahead out of all of this, but Barry, the championship contender in the team's championship, is down, and down big time. Pursoon loses a position to their teammate, and Verve is on the outside. They're not going to be able to make that move eventually, but what the hell happened just there?
Yeah, I didn't have a really good look at it, but if Pursoon made some contact with Barry, it's not ideal to make contact as a reserve. So I don't think Barry will be happy with that, with now PJ or Pursoon going really wide, taking a weird line, so he drops down behind Verve now, and Penis is losing the DRS to Jericho in the meantime.
Yeah, Jericho managed to play that quite nicely, although it was quite dramatic. It works out, I guess. So they sit in P3 on their own. They do have a higher tier driver and the runner-up of last season sitting right behind them, so it's not going to be easy. We've got PJ, who is now pushed up ahead of their teammate, of course, and getting a few positions as well ahead of Verve as well. After all of that, Verve not able to really make too much progress, although of course they have been promoted overall because Barry has had that issue. Now, we couldn't really see the situation too well, so we'll have to look at it at a later point. But yeah, it wasn't ideal. It does mean that actually all of that has brought everyone a lot closer than I expected. Rare Winter is still kind of nearby in this battle. I don't know what's happened to them, but Chocolada closed up a lot. We've got PJ going for the move here as he goes into turn 1 around the outside of Peanuts, and they're going to try and get a slingshot to see if they can catch up to Jericho Willis, but it's not really looking that it's that possible. They're just maintaining the gap at this point.
Yeah, you can see as well that everyone is just saving their ERS. Everyone was blinking on straight, first half finish straight. I don't think Pursuit and Verve switched around, but it's PJ now spinning around on the curb. He just lost it on the inside curb there in turn 9, is it?
That would be turn 10-11 actually, so that's yeah, really frustrating on the exit of the S section kind of thing. That is really disappointing. A big bit of damage to their left end plate and, well, left part of the wing effectively down to P8, and they will probably drop further as Rare Winter will make that position. Rare Winter also got damage. They both going to be racing each other with damage left end plates and maybe a bit more for PJ, so that's going to be frustrating. We've got Pursuit then making that move on Peanuts, who goes off the circuit. Verve is going to get the momentum and look to probably make at least one move, maybe even two, if they can do so, as Peanuts uses this opportunity to go for the move. There is Verve on the inside line. I think it's going to work out on the exit. DRS is not going to be available because Verve has been collided with, unfortunately. What a shame right there. Losing the car on exit is Pursuit, and Verve has got a bit of damage to that car.
Ah, that's unlucky to see. Soon losing the rear on exit, and that and then he had contact with Verve. It's unlucky for Verve, and just not an incident you really like to say. Oh, it's Penis hitting the inside wall of turn 4.
Oh no, not again. Frantic did that yesterday and it's now happened again. It's not going to be a safety car somehow. Terrence is also out of this race. I don't know if they retired in the pit lane or not, but two cars all of a sudden crashing out almost immediately. PJ leaves the pit lane. They weren't retiring. I do apologise for the microphone issues that I can hear at least through my end. Hopefully we can get that sorted. But yeah, that's a very disappointing moment right there for Peanuts and Terrence, the two teammates from last season. Of course, Peanuts is the higher tier driver and Terrence is still driving for Aston despite being in that Mercedes, but what a shame. Nothing we can do about it now. We're on lap 8 out of 9. It is DRS between the top two, and we'll see what is going to happen. Looks all good here in the comms box now. Here we go. Frantic is going to be looking to make that move. Where do you think they should make this move, Heish?
The last actually straight, like before the last corner, because that's the only real opportunity that you now have to overtake. Frantic didn't do it into the first corner, which is logical. And yeah, the only option Simaxon has is maybe letting Frantic pass into the last corner and try to get it to the run to the line.
For sure. We'll see how it goes. We've got the top two fighting on their own, and Jericho Willis has got a bit of a gap to everyone, so they might be able to secure a pretty decent P3 right here. Then we got Pursuit. Rare Winter Chocolada has got a few cars behind him, and this is going to be an interesting one. Of course, Barry losing out. I don't think they've got damage on that car, so they're just trying to make some progress and get back into this. Bread is cool, coming back from much earlier on having issues. They're now back in this race. They go over track limits. They've got to be careful that they don't do that again. Verf, unfortunately, not able to hold on as well as these guys. But we will go to the top two as they fight here for the victory in Saudi Arabia. Simaxon's tried to create a bit of a gap. Frantic is behind. He's allowed to sit behind. ERS is going to be used to the maximum as they head to the final corner. Simaxon's trying to hold on. ERS has been turned off. I think Frantic's looking to try and get it on the exit of the final corner. Will they get the traction down? I don't know if it's going to be so possible. Simaxon has played it to perfection. They come up to the line and they win the sprint race in Saudi Arabia. Frantic give it a really, really good shot right there. Jericho Willis will take a lovely P3 after a difficult time last weekend, DNFing up to the line, or off the line, and that is going to be Rare Winter just ahead at the moment, but they demon drag across into the wall. They come back across, and Chocolada has put them in the wall, unfortunately. That's going to be buried down the order. Rare Winter does get ahead quite nicely. I do apologise for what we've just seen there. It's going to be Saudi Arabia. Anyway, Chocolada, Verf, Brothers Cool, PJ does get ahead of Brothers Cool in the end. Zanor, after their lag issues, hopefully we can see if we can get that sorted for the main qualifying and main race. And then that's Albert, unfortunately, retiring, but they will not be, well, they should be scoring points, so I don't know why they've retired right there, but it is what it is. A very, very, very difficult one for many, but for the top three, they've got some pretty good points right there.
Yeah, and you saw Jericho's power again by just keeping it clean, and that's why he is in this championship fight still. Just driving around, and respect to Simaxon as well for keeping his first position on those straights.
Indeed, indeed. It was awesome. There's the result. Simaxon takes the win. Frantic in P2. Jericho Willis in P3. We've got Pursuing Rare Winter, Barry Kruger, then Chocolada. Then we got Verf, PJ, Bredis, Cool, Zanor, Albeda, and then DNFing earlier on was Peanuts and Terrence. This is the race director, just in case. And then we will be back in a few moments' time for the main qualifying and main race. We will see you in a bit. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for the F1.5 EU Championship. We have got qualifying underway for the main qualifying session and going towards the main race, of course. That is a big off right there for Rare Winter. Still not invalidated, but it's not going to be a quicker lap time than their current one, unfortunately, so they will have to back off. 7 minutes on the clock. They've got plenty of time to be able to set another lap time. Currently it's a 27.554 for Simaxon Verf in P2 with Frantic in P3. Heish, was it a 27.0? Did you say the qualifying lap was yesterday?
No, the sprint quality time yesterday was 28.0. But I believe the actual quality was a 27.2 if I remember correctly. Okay. Or 4, not sure, but it was somewhere there. So it was from Simaxon as well, I believe. He was on pole. So let's see if he can beat that from yesterday. Yeah, if anyone is going to beat it, it will be the person that got the pole position, of course. So we'll see what they can do. But yeah, it will be a tough ask. But considering that that was on the F1 grid and this is on the F1.5 grid, they should have a pretty good chance of getting pole if they can continue with the good form so far. They are definitely one to watch, and you really got to try and pay attention on how they drive the cars because they've had some good success recently. A lot can be learned from the Red Bull here and also from this lap. It's going to be a 27.265. There you go. How about that? That is the new fastest time, and Verf and Frantic have got a bit of a way to go to be able to catch up to that time. Yeah, Frantic is now on a lap as well. I think he will be the next one to cross the line for the lap. So far he has been up, I believe, in this first sector. I missed that delta, so I'm not sure, but he's pushing on, and let's see what he can do. Lovely stuff. Going down the straight and into turn 22 they will get to the basically next major corner, and over the sector line it will be. Currently 3/10 up on their time. It will be a 0.6, not going to be enough to get quite so near Simaxon. They do have a few more corners to get that done if they want to try and close the gap,
but they will definitely be able to jump themselves into P2 ahead of Verf temporarily for now. Through the final corner, getting to the apex slightly, and then DRS will be open and using all the ERS you possibly can. Super hard to manage around this circuit with the new meta that you have to use. It's going to be a P2, a 0.6 it is in the end. 3.5 tenths almost improvement right there. Now, Heish, with the new ERS kind of methods that you have to use to maximize your lap time, where are you looking to use overtake around this circuit, if at all, because there's so many straights?
My way of using the ERS around the track is not using it at all on the start finish straight when you start the lap. Like, so you just be on hot lap. Then as soon as you turn into turn 1, put it to medium. Keep it on medium for the rest of sector 1 until you exit the S's. Then you use a little bit of overtake again, but then turn the overtake off. But keep in medium again. Then you don't use overtake at all until this chicane. After the chicane, you put on overtake again. At least I do use overtake there. I saw Frantic not using overtake there, so you can choose. But yeah, you put on overtake there or hot lap. Then you go into this next chicane again. After that, put on overtake, not too much because you want to keep still some ERS for the run up to the line, and yeah, obviously there you put on overtake once again.
Indeed, yeah. And then you try and maximize your lap time, and if it works out nicely. If you run out of battery, you could be in trouble, but we'll see how it goes. Verf currently looking to probably set what will be their last lap time, I would assume, in this session. They're looking to try and compete for that pole position and still see if they can get their first win in LSI, as they were fighting for in their first race in Singapore. It didn't quite go their way, unfortunately. So Maxon taking their first victory there. They're currently almost 2 tenths down on their previous lap time, so it's not looking too great, and they might have to back off mid-lap here and then go again. That would probably be the best bet at the moment, but they still look to be pushing as they go through the left and the right, and it's actually the right and then the left of turn 17, and that is a difficult one to keep in a straight line. They still look like they're pushing, although their battery is fairly full, so I don't know how much they are doing on the battery there. 3 tenths down right now, so they're going to have to go again.
Oh, and Red Bull was slowing down there. I would have shit my pants if I saw that. Sorry for the language.
No problem.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna improve on this time. He still has a lot of ERS left to the line, and I don't even think he will have. Yeah, he won't even use all of it. So not sure if he's able to just save the ERS again and go again. I can't see the time at the moment, but if he can do so, he can have another shot.
Yeah, lovely. So should be absolutely fine. They should be good to go. Currently, the times that we have on the clock or on the board right now: so Max on Frantic, Verf, Barry, Jericho, Willis, Rare Winter, Terrence, Brothers Call, Zanor, and PJ as a high tier driver, not going to be setting a lap. That's the same for Pursoon, Peanuts, who are at the back, and then Albert, unfortunately, also being DSQ'd, but that is not for a reason that we know. So they must have had a pretty unfortunate incident for that to happen in the end. Now we'll see what we can get from a few people, but we do have now less than a lap on the clock, or on the clock, so it does mean that these are going to be the last few laps. We've got the Red Bull leaving the pit lane, but I think that will be it. I don't think is that going to be Barry or Simaxon. It's going to be Simaxon. They will not get another lap in this session.
No, they won't make it. They won't make it. You would have to cut corners, but that's not allowed, obviously. So, no, they are not gonna make that. But in the meantime, I believe Frantic improved his time even further. I'm not sure if he's able to do another lap. I think he's out of fuel if I look at him. So he will not fight for the pole either. So it's all eyes on Verf now, I think.
Verf indeed. They go across the line and they have saved up the battery for one final run here in Saudi Arabia. It is going to be a pretty dead tyre, but they immediately invalidate on the first corner. That is the top 3 out of qualifying already. Barry, Jericho, Willis, they're all in the pit lane. It's going to be Rare Winter that will compete for the next lap time if they possibly can. Terrence is not on track. No, they're not on track. It's Brothers Call is the only other car that that can do anything about this realistically, as that is going to be an issue there for Verf as they've retired on track, it looks like. So they're going to have to try and not do that again. But Rare Winter going through the sector lines, we'll see what they can do as they exit the complex and they head towards turn 13. That's going to be 2.5 tenths improvement at the moment. They still need a bit more if they want to get to the Williams car.
Yeah, I saw they are already using quite a lot of ERS, so it's gonna be tied towards the line. He won't be able to use too much on this race, where he actually will gain the much with using ERS. So I'm not sure what he will do with his time, but we'll see how far he can get up.
Indeed. Just a couple sectors left to go. Their teammate is waiting for them, but they've made a big bit of contact with the wall and they invalidate. What a shame. They were looking to get an absolute masterclass on the slipstream, as we saw earlier on in the session before the livestream started. Unfortunately, it is called off very, very early in the end, and that will not be an improvement for either of the Racing Bulls. They gave it a shot. They were going to try and give us a show, but it will be Sir Maxon who comes out on track a little bit too late. They've got some fresh tyres on, but they're not actually going to end up setting a lap. They still got the pole position regardless. So a little bit of a, I don't know if you can call it a flex or just a mistake. Let's just say it was a flex there for Sir Maxon. Looking at the times, they've got a 27.265. That is Sir Maxon on pole, Frantic P2 and Verf in P3. This is the rest of the grid, and that's the race director. We will be back. We will see you in a bit. Ready, hold, go! Who's going to get it into turn one? Sir Maxon on pole position. There's a car off in the background as PJ makes a mistake. It's still side by side once again. Frantic to the outside line. Will they make it work this time as they head to turn four? Sir Maxon's trying to hold on to pole position, but this time the Haas has got the job done. It's not quite so simple. Sticking their nose to the inside, Sir Maxon gives it a shot, but they might have just got themselves an unnecessary track limit if they're not careful. Everyone else behind, it's a little bit difficult, but they managed to get through just about. Barry P4, Jericho Willis, Rare Winter, Terrence sitting behind, looking to now make a move on the Racing Bull. They switch to the inside line. They're going to give it absolutely everything on the soft compound tyre. There's a big bit of contact. They lose the traction on the rear, and the Racing Bull will get back through. But that is absolutely crazy. Everybody seems to be okay on the start of this one, except for maybe a little bit of contact with the wall for PJ. I don't know if they've got away with that one. Unfortunately, Zanor has had a bit of damage, and it looks like further behind also maybe Albeda did, but they don't seem to actually have any damage, so they're just sitting back at the moment and waiting for everything to calm down. The top three are very, very close together. I say the top three, it's everybody in the train at the moment, and I don't know how it's going to go. They're all going to be using the battery to try and stay ahead. It's going to be side by side almost of Jericho Willis and Barry, but they do stay behind. Barry's looking to the inside of Verf. That's Jericho Willis to the inside, and they're looking to try and make a move into the first corner.
Yeah, Simakson was immediately trying to overtake Frantic again into the banked corner, but now he's going to the inside of Frantic and retaking the lead. He lost it on the opening lap. First looking on the inside of Frantic as well for a small moment, but he's slotting in behind, whilst Jericho is now going side by side with Barry into turn 4. He's going off track, so he'll have to give that position back, I think, because overtaking off track is obviously not clean, and now it's a virtual safety car.
Ooh, virtual safety car, that would be for either Verf or Albador as they've gone into the pit lane, and actually Albador's going very, very slowly, it looks like, so they've spun on the exit of the second corner. That would explain the situation that we've got right now. That was what we were watching there, very, very, very tight between Jericho Willis there and Barry. They managed to sort it out just about, but they've got to be careful. That does lose them a lot of time. It is going to be, unfortunately, Zanor getting a drive-through penalty off the restart of the virtual safety car, but everybody seems to be somewhat good to go, except from Barry, who didn't quite get it on their teammate. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if something happens that we didn't really get to see, and maybe somebody has dropped back a little bit on the delta when they shouldn't have done so.
I think Simakson was on point with the virtual safety car restarts, nearly dropping Frantic out of this DRS. But I believe Frantic just kept in, so he's fine. He can still fight for the win now. And Firth is just hanging on as well. Just use all of his DRS probably now to stay with them.
Indeed. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be Barry looking to go to the inside line, but to the outside line it will be Rare Winter. Rare Winter's going to have to probably, I was going to say the better line, but no. Barry gets it on the brakes. Jericho Willis just has to watch that happen. They're a sitting duck on the straight, and now they've got pressure from Terence, who almost had a look, but they stay behind for now. They're not going to be going for a move anytime soon. They will let things be. The top three are as they are. That being said, it's becoming the top two as Verf isn't quite able to hold on to DRS Rangers. They completely ramp over the curb as they go through turn 9. They've managed to keep it together, but it's gonna lose them a bit of time. Barry leads the next train of this race, and then it goes all the way to the McLarens down in P11.
Yeah, I can tell from the car of Firth, he's a bit struggling with his rear. He was a bit loose on the exit of the banked corner. And now he's out of the DRS whilst he still has ERS to spare. So I'm not sure what he's planning on doing, but I would say you want to still be with the lead train to have a chance on a win. Indeed you do. Peanuts makes the move in the meantime in this train. Not easy to make a move in the train, I'll be honest. It's pretty tough to get something done when everybody is on the same amount of ERS as each other. We get Rare Winter making the move on Barry as they go down the straight. Is anyone else going to try and follow on? As it is going to be Jericho Willis sending their nose to the inside line. They were given absolutely minimal space. They keep it together. We're going to get Terence also trying to push. These guys are going to be using the battery. They're not actually going to get to Rare Winter, I don't think. So Jericho Willis gets ahead for now. They all stay as they are. Terence stays ahead of their teammate for the moment, but they do not get the move done on the other Red Bull. We're going to have a quick look at the tyre situation right now. It's actually Terence, the only car on the soft tyre compound. Hard tyres for PJ. Everybody else on the mediums. Yeah, I don't think soft is a good option to have. They will just die off too quickly. You can see from the tire graph you have in the strategy screen that the tires don't wear too much, with Jericho now having a little look on the inside of Erwin, but he didn't. He backed out. He thought better of it. But yes, the tires don't wear much, but you feel the wear, just like in Mexico, way too much to actually use them. Indeed.
It's difficult, but it's the way it goes, and if everybody is in the same situation, then it's just how you got to deal with it. That's going to be Terence but might lose and has lost the position to Brothers Cool, as Brothers Cool realises Peanuts has made that move on Terence. They don't want to be stuck behind a soft tyre runner any more than they need to be, so that means everybody's making the move. Here come both the McLarens as well, and Terence has just gone from about P7 down to P11 in about a sector or so. I'd say like half a lap really, as PJ lets it happen. They allow them to come back through, but a mistake is made for Terence. They continue. They're going to be heading to the first corner. I don't think anybody's going to be making a move this time around though. In the meantime, No Frantic did get ahead of Samaxon.
Yeah, and in the meantime, yeah, you were saying it. Simaxon or Frantic is now taking the lead.
Oh,
It's
big
Winter now
crash!
hitting the turn 4.
Rare Winter has hit the wall. It's gonna be a virtual safety car only. Somehow, I do not believe what I have just seen. Once again, that's the third driver that has claimed that wall on the inside. I do not know what to say. I think it was Peanuts earlier on today, and it was yesterday, Frantic, having that issue. What a shame. Leading the train, they're going to be incredibly disappointed. They're in a great opportunity, a great position to get a phenomenal result, but unfortunately, it hasn't gone their way. I don't think we're going to get any pit stops, however.
No, I don't think so either. The virtual safety car might take a few full laps. Sometimes you have it, but sometimes the virtual safety car can go away really quickly, like we saw earlier. But yeah, I don't think anyone is gonna pit right now. You can make it on the Haas until the end, but it might be a little bit too early, and the time loss will be maybe a bit too much as well. But for now, I have to go really quickly. I will be back.
Awesome. All right, Frantic is going to lead the way, and we go racing once again here in Saudi Arabia. No one's going to opt to go into the pit lane this time. Simaxon will possibly opt to go for the move into the first corner. They've got so much time behind with the cars behind, so they can afford to fight each other for the championship, which is a bit of fun. Of course, we've got Jericho Willis getting DRS from the ghost car, from the lapped car, who's having to move out the way, and trying to move out the way at least, as they will be able to nice and easily stay in P4 because of that. Barry just has to let this happen. They can't do anything about it. And then we have Brothers Call followed by Pursoon, and we'll see what they can do, as that is Brothers Call incredibly close to the back of Barry. Barry not getting the best restart, and let's see if maybe a damage, I don't quite know. Did they hit the back of Rare Winter? Were they directly behind Rare Winter? I don't think they were. Somebody could have maybe had an issue or maybe broken, and that's kind of caused a bit of an issue. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Barry, I hope they don't have damage, but they might do so.
Yeah, I just returned. I don't know much about that miss, but it's looking like Frantic and Simaxon are still in the lead. So yeah, let's see what they will do for the rest of the race, I guess.
Indeed. I do apologise. I'm just going to quickly say, oh, that's a side-by-side moment right there through turn 22. They managed to keep it together. In the chat, I do apologise, and we'll get that sorted for next race. I do apologise for all the issues there. So, yeah, I do apologise. That's all I can say right now, and I will speak to you later about it. We're going to get a move to the inside there for, I think it was Brothers Call. It was indeed, as Barry can't do anything about it. In the meantime, Frantic and Simaxon switch again. We've got the McLaren of Pursoon to the inside, gonna be looking to get one move. Would they try and dare to go for a second? Under braking, they will do so, and it's gonna be Peanuts who follows on and brakes way too late and makes big contact right there. What a shame. Brothers Cool is going to be down the order and going to be incredibly frustrated. Racing Ball's day just get completely worse and worse and worse. Peanuts is going to be pretty frustrated with themselves, I assume, after that one. They've definitely got to make sure that that doesn't happen again. But they're going to try and take what they've done and still get a good result if they can do. That's all you can do. If you've crashed into someone, you've just got to try and take what you've given, what you've got given, and just make the best out of the bad result. But yeah, that is a shame. That is a massive, massive shame. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I'm losing my words here. I do apologise. I'm just going to pass it over very quickly as the top two are switching once again. Yeah,
Peanuts just I'm sorry. Just missing his braking point a bit, misjudging the overspeed, and now sadly Brad School will have front wing damage and need to pit, I think, or his damage might be not too bad that he can continue for a while, but I would say pit earlier than you want to pit, because, oh yeah, he's pitting right now. The Hearts will make it till the end, so it's the best option to do now.
Indeed, yeah. It's possible, if you've got a little bit of damage, to continue around this circuit as we saw yesterday, but they might as well pit if they can do. They'll go to the end, and they can get a bit of an undercut, I'd assume, right? Could they? Would that work?
Yes.
Could they even gain a few positions?
Like I said in my interview after the race yesterday, I actually was planning on pitting quite early when the safety during the safety car actually. Like when the safety car came out, I was planning on pitting at somewhere that lap or the lap after it, because the hards will make it easily. They don't have a big drop off, so you will just keep doing the same times, whilst PJ has a big moment out of that turn. So yeah, it's a really possible strategy to do if you want to gain positions.
Now, if you don't kind of sit within a... Oh, that is Brothers Core, unfortunately retiring on the entry of turn 4. Is that a voluntary retirement?
That's voluntary.
Is it? The car's not moving. Unless it moved into a retirement spot. Which is a shame, because they would have been right in the battle. I was going to say, would they overtake everybody once everybody else pits? Probably they would have got a few moves, even though the DRS train was up ahead. I think a very close DRS train could be in trouble if they're not careful, of course. But I guess we will never know, and that's how that one goes, unfortunately, for Brothers Court. We're going to get Pursuin going into the pit lane earlier than anyone else, so others may now have to react instead. They've got damage,
is listening to me. Pursuin did they get damage? Oh, they did. I was going to say Pursuin listens to me, because this was actually lap 8, was the lap I wanted to pit yesterday as well. But now this is obvious choice to pit right now. The same reason for a Brothers School actually. Just pit now and try to undercut and still be in the train later on.
Indeed, indeed. Alright, Pursuin leaves the pit lane. They get a very unfortunate 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help them towards the end of this Grand Prix. But they will be able to get a bit of an undercut, and maybe that could be pretty powerful around the circuit. If you can get ahead, maybe even extend the gap that others can't get back into even on DRS, then you'll be nice and calm, you know. It'll be a relaxed race to the end. Sure, Frantic and Samaxon are away from the rest of the pack, but they are still close to one another, and things could go wrong if they're not careful. They still have to pay attention. Verf, pretty much all on their own at the moment. They're ready to pick up any pieces if the top two do make mistakes. They do have to make sure that they don't make any mistakes themselves. If you get complacent, you can be in trouble. The same situation goes for Jerko Willis, who's currently on their own. But it's Frantic and Samaxon both following each other into the pit lane. Verf does not take that opportunity, however.
Yeah, this is an obvious choice for both Frantic and Samaxon. I mean, just staying together with Barry looking around behind PJ now, moving all over the place. But yeah, the top two will stay in a train together, so they will keep working together. At least P2 or P1 is settled for them if nothing is happening. But as you said, if they do something more on the aggressive side and they will crash, Verf will pick up the pieces.
Actually, that's Pursuin retiring in the pit lane. I thought they had an incident there. I don't quite know why that happened, but Frantic and Samaxon, they were going side by side through the S's there. They were not exactly making it easy for one another. Terrence is right behind them. As these guys were fighting in the train so much, they're now actually on the old strategy. This is still not for position, but it's still for track position, and they've got to be careful. They're on much fresher tyres. They're going to have the performance in the car because of that, but they're not able to really do anything at the moment. Frantic might try and get a move done here. They're pushing on the battery. Here we go. There is Samaxon going through. Frantic's going to try and do it as well, and actually Terrence is just going to back off and let that happen. But these guys are pushing to the limit. Does Samaxon even have DRS from Terrence before? Will they be able to hold on ahead? No.
Yeah, this won't help them. I would say Verf should have actually pitted this lap. Obviously you don't know what's happening behind you, but this would have been a prime moment to pit. He might have been in the train or even ahead of them with the time they lost. But now Terrence decides to pit, go off these old softs, and I think put on hards.
Would be probably likely if they're pitting at this point.
They're pitting mediums.
Oh, fair enough. Well, they're going for the aggressive strategy, I guess. They'll see what they can do later on. PJ retires, unfortunately, in the wall. Turn 4 claims another fourth car in the wall, unfortunately. And that is going to be a full safety car this time around.
Verf is in a such a good position now. By staying out, he will just stay at P1 now. He has two other cars in between them. Nah, I think after pit stops, it might be one or maybe none. But it will help him a lot to get in this fight as well after losing the DRS at the beginning stages.
Lap fresher tyres as well is always going to be nice. Track position is always going to be nice around this circuit, and more importantly, a rolling start instead of a standing start. That will definitely help out.
Yes.
Being able to stay close to the pack, of course, ahead and trying to maybe break away from behind, but it does mean that the cars behind will be able to hold on quite nicely. That does now mean that we end up having 9 cars out on track, excluding the disconnected car of Albert, so we've actually got 8 cars out on track right now. They've got to try and come through the field to see if they can get into this restart. But Verf into the pit lane now. They'll put on the hards, I would assume, and then we'll see what Samaxon can do regarding if they can make that move or not. Samaxon is passing the pit lane entry right now, so is Frantic.
Yeah, I'm just looking now who will be ahead of them, and only Verf has no one in between them. Still has those fresh tires, but it would have been nice for him to have 1 or 2 cars in between them. But sadly, the safety car came out just too late for that. Imagine if it would came out just a moment when both Samaxon and Frantic would have pitted.
I mean, it actually works out quite nicely because the cars behind, they've actually got a ghost car, and Samaxon is trying to maybe see if he can scare the ghost car off the circuit. You can't actually overtake them. You have to sit behind. So there's going to be at least a car width behind Verf, of course. I don't know how the AI car will react to a restart, but Samaxon and Frantic, they're going to be at the mercy of that AI. They can't do anything about it. That's incredibly frustrating for that race. It is why we try and get people to retire their car before they leave the session, but I would assume that there has been a different reason for this case, so hopefully Albade is all good to go and we can see them in future races. But yeah, Verf is in not the best position, considering, of course, there's a car not behind them, in between on different strategy. But they have a car that is going to hinder the cars behind and then completely break away. So maybe if they were able to get away from DRS, there wouldn't be a car able to push behind them and catch up. That was very long-winded, but yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, this moment actually reminds me of an earlier race I had in LSI. I think around Mexico as well, where I had some struggles with ghost cars. I believe on this game the dirty air you get from ghost cars is none, or just maybe a little bit. But back in the days we had some dirty air from ghost cars, and it will unsettle the car a lot. Luckily they don't have that now. And I think Verf can now, when he knows there's a ghost car behind him, just relax a little bit with the restart. You have like a car in between them. They will definitely not overtake you, and the chance of you breaking away is also quite low because they can work together. So just relax on the restart, watch what you're doing, and don't mess it up, pretty much.
Indeed. All right, we'll see how that goes. Terrence, do you think they can, I know we've already spoken to them, spoken about this, do you think they can get to the end? I think that's a yes, but do you think they'll be competitive at the end with this compound?
Competitive, no. It helps them that there is a safety car. If you're doing it right, you will have around 2% of tire wear, if I remember correctly from yesterday, after a safety car restart. So he will have good tires for the beginning. He will make up some places maybe at the beginning, but he does have a lapped car as well in front of him. So it will be tough for him as well, but he has the tires to at least do something at the beginning.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. They do have the lap car, and they can't pass that lap car, of course, until that point, so they've got to be careful. And hopefully there's no issues. Hopefully Zanor can move out the way safely of the pretty rapid medium tyre that will be trying to hunt them down, of course. We'll see how it goes. They will, of course, ghost, so regardless of the situation, Terence should have an opportunity to get through. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult if a ghost car doesn't move out the way. We'll see how it goes. Verf is going to be restarting this race in a very controversial fashion with the lapped car behind them, and there's nothing that Sir Maxon or Frantic can do, or Jericho Willis or anyone behind can do. They just have to let it be. We get the confirmation. We'll be going racing once again here in Saudi Arabia. Lap 13, it will go lap 14 out of 25. Who is gonna get it into the first corner? Verf should be able to do it here with that gap that they will have. The safety car comes around the final corner, and they can effectively go at any point when they want to right now. That's what Nifo was doing yesterday. They're probably going to wait a little bit later on because that will help out. They go for it now, I think, and they've got a pretty good gap right there between them and the ghost car. So Maxon has to let go, but they've overtaken before the line. That's an interesting one. They're going to have to slow up and make sure that doesn't happen. Frantic's going to have to do exactly the same thing, but the AI car is just slowing down, and it's caused an absolute confusion with everyone. Frantic's gonna slow on the exit of the corner. I don't know if there was a crash shot right there with Terence, but a 10-second penalty will be applied to them by the game for ignoring the yellow flag. Exactly what I thought would happen, and it has happened. Verf is now leading by 1.6 seconds.
And imagine the scenes with Jericho now in P2. He will actually gain on both his championship rivals in the championship. So has worked out somehow perfectly for Jericho. He was thinking the correct way during the restart, but both Simoxon and Frantic were a bit too eager with that AI. You only can overtake him after the line.
And they waited for so long sitting behind that safety car to do that, sitting behind the ghost car, and then the only point that they overtake is the point where they lose the biggest run possible. So Maxon was lucky to be able to get that move returned immediately, but because the AI is a lot slower than everybody else, it meant that they just weren't able to slow down enough for Frantic. So now they've got all this work to do, going from P3 down to P7. They've got Terence up ahead, but Terence is on that medium tyre, so it's not going to be easy to get past that car until at least later on in the session. DRS is enabled. It's not going to be enabled for the top three, but Peanuts will possibly have an opportunity. Frantic makes that move here on Terence.
Yeah, and Frantic is now overtaking Terence cleanly in before even turn one. I wasn't expecting that you would say both of them were using ERS, but Frantic made it overtake cleanly, and now Simoxon in the meantime was pushing all the way and now catches back up to Jericho. So we will still have a fight between championship rivals here.
The pole sitter from yesterday and today has got a lot of pace in that car. Surprise, surprise. They've caught up to their championship rival, of course, Jericho Willis, their season rival of Verf, who they have competed with many times over this season. Not quite in the championship as Verf, as they are a reserve driver. They don't quite attend every race, but they have been very competitive, most notably back in Austria and Singapore, and they're looking to try and possibly do that again here. 15 laps right now done out of 25. Maxon goes for the move before the DRS straight. I think Jericho Willis might even try and make this move back again.
Definitely. Just go back for it. Maybe wait for the next straight even, because you know you will stay ahead into the second sector. And you see now he's flashing his light as well on the rear, so he will go for it into turn one, I think.
As they turn the battery back on, as you see the flashing light disappears. Are they actually going to push? It doesn't look like it, but Sir Maxon is very quick in a straight line. They're letting that happen. I think they're trying to catch up to Verf. Is that the right call, though? We'll see. That's fastest lap there for Frantic, as that is Barry and Peanuts very close to one another into the first corner. As they fight each other, Frantic catches up and is already within DRS range and possibly even overtaking range right here. Big bit of contact there for Peanuts on the back of Barry. They keep it in a straight line, luckily.
Yeah, Barry overtook Penis into turn one, just before turn one actually on the DRS already. Frantic is now actually pushing Penis all the way during the first sector. They are so close behind, with Penis now sending it on Barry into the inside and going really wide, leaves space just about on the inside of I can't speak. Frantic is taking advantage from it and now slotting in behind Peanuts.
Absolutely awesome stuff there from Frantic. That is going to be a time penalty as Peanuts has got a lot of momentum. Frantic's going to try and take advantage of that immediately again, but they're probably going to end up getting no DRS, and I reckon Peanuts is probably going to try and come back at them, quite possibly. ERS is at a absolute minimal right here for Frantic, not for Peanuts. Peanuts has got pressure from Barry behind, so I think we're probably going to get a move, but we're not actually going to get a move at least from Peanuts. No, they will go to the inside line, and they will make that move. DRS will come back immediately for Frantic as they almost made contact, looking for the switchback, which didn't quite go the way they wanted it to. Barry's to the outside line. Peanuts might be double overtaken here by the time we get to the first corner.
Yeah, Barry now overtaking Frantic, but he won't overtake Peanuts. He can wait until another safety or DRS straight. With Frantic now getting a penalty as well, so that won't help him later on in the race either. But all this fighting will make the gap between Peanuts and Jericho even bigger, and Jericho and Simonson will love life with it.
Indeed they will. This is only making it easier, and it must be making the situation that Frantic was in just a few moments ago even more frustrating. Frantic can't do anything about it. They've got the teammate of their championship rival right there, and as far as they're concerned, battling as hard as they possibly can is absolutely awesome. They might as well do it just to make it even easier here for Samaxon. I'll say easy, it's not easy. 2 seconds is still the gap here with Verf and Samaxon. The pole sitter is not able to catch up to that Sauber just yet. Will they have an opportunity to catch up a little bit more later on? I don't know, but 17 laps done out of 25. We are coming to the closing stages of this Grand Prix. Frantic looks like they're going to have a pretty nice chance at making this move.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's smart though, because Peanuts will just overtake him onto the start-finish race again, I would say. Barry now just slotting in behind, chilling a bit, because he knows both of them have penalties. So he doesn't really have to take any risks anymore. But I assume Peanuts will go for it right now. No, he's saving ERS as well. So we'll see. Oh, Barry go. No, Barry having a look, but not making move with Peanuts. Now losing the rear a little bit onto turn 1.
That was a close one, very, very close, but they keep it together for now. Now Frantic has got a 6/10 advantage to Peanuts. That might just be enough to give them a bit more comfort, as they can now possibly stay ahead and lead a train rather than switching around in a train. But yeah, that's something that we'll have to figure out within the next couple of corners and straights, really, whether there are going to be any more overtakes. As these guys have battled, Terence has caught back up to the pack, and they're looking to try and see if they can get involved before those tyres do die out.
Yeah, I'm looking at the ERS situation now, and Frantic still has a lot less ERS than both the drivers behind him. So I think Peanuts is still really close behind him and will re-overtake him at some point again. He's saving ERS for now, so it's looking like he is planning on an overtake. So I don't see them both working together to catch up to the rest of them.
Nope, I think the move's going to be done. There you go. I think if Barry doesn't make the move, then it will be kind of working together. So they do actually get a pretty nice slipstream train. Would we see Frantic go back for the move immediately? I think we could see them. DRS, they move to the inside, does Peanuts. So now moving to the outside, maybe not. I don't quite know. Frantic uses the energy and will go to the racing line. So they are working together in the end. So they are trying to give themselves the best chance of catching Jericho Willis up ahead, but a 5-second gap with a 13-second time penalty to Frantic's name. That is not going to be an easy one to deal with. Jericho Willis currently P3 with a 3-second. We've got Peanuts with a 3-second. We've got Zenor with a 3-second as well.
Yeah, Barry is actually struggling to keep up with these guys. I saw him on nearly 10% on the last straight of the track. So he is struggling. He is happy that they are still fighting, otherwise he would have lost out probably on this lap. So the working together actually didn't really work much. They even lost now 2/10 compared to the moment they were fighting. So I'm not sure what they are planning on doing, but it doesn't look like they are planning on getting to the top.
Indeed. Yeah, it will be a tall order regardless. So they've got to try and make the best out of the current situation that they've got. As Peanuts, I assume, is probably going to make that move into the final corner. Oh, actually, maybe not. No, they are going to the inside line. So they are going to try and make it work. But this time they don't actually get the job done before the corner in the end. So Frantic will break early, get the DRS. Overall, Frantic will gain time. It's just maybe not as efficient as I would have expected it to be. So they slot in behind and they will gain a little bit in the end. 1.8 seconds is the gap that Sir Maxon has brought to Verf, catching about 2/10 in the last 3 or 4 laps or so. Wouldn't be enough to take the victory here, but it is progress, and you put the pressure on the car ahead. More importantly, the closer you get, so maybe it could work in Sir Maxon's favour here. They're doing their best job right now, the best job they can. They've also brought Jericho Willis with them, and that is a brilliant effort here from Jericho Willis, who's making this work. They do have a time penalty, but just in case, if one of those other cars get a time penalty, then they're in perfect position, they're in prime position to get something good out of this one. And I think it actually helped Sir Maxon, because regardless of whether Sir Maxon wins this Grand Prix or not, if Jericho Willis finishes ahead of Frantic, then it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the gap between the P1 and P2, and I assume Firth actually made somewhere a mistake into sector 1 around turn 4, because he lost like around 3/10 there out of nothing. So he is very much feeling the pressure, I think, for getting his first win here. I don't want to jinx it for him, but I can relate to him when you're on the brink of winning your first race.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. It is not easy at all, but the emotion, there's nothing quite like it. Peanuts just lost quite a big chunk of time as Barry then made that move and has now tried to get the move back, or get DRS back on Frantic, as DRS was pretty much at a 0 right there. They did get DRS from Peanuts, that's how they were able to catch up quite a lot, but now it's 9/10, so it's crunch time here for Barry. They've got to try and make this work. They caught, or they no, they didn't catch the house, sorry, the house of Tom Brain the last time around actually made a pit stop, so I'm just going to completely go away from that. That was a bit of a slip up. It was an Aston Martin that they were fighting. 1.2 seconds is the gap now. Frantic has spotted the opportunity to break away and maybe be on their own and focus right here, which would be a brilliant effort right now for them. Jericho Willis is also on the edge of losing DRS as Sir Maxon is pushing to their limits. He's just about held on to it, but also DRS is available for Sir Maxon. So now the top 3 are all here for the fight.
Yeah, Jericho now, with his penalty, I would say, is just wanting to sit behind and watch them fight, watch them do the work, and hope for them to make a mistake or something. Maybe he is even has a chance to go for a win here.
It's possible. I mean, yeah, if you get cars pressured up in front, maybe getting a time penalty, then all of a sudden you will find yourself in a great opportunity. And if you can get it done on track safely anyway, despite a time penalty, then you might as well. He gets fastest lap as well. So Maxon doesn't go for the move, so they're just going to bunch up incredibly close. Frantic breaks away. Barry Kruger's going to try and get a slingshot on Peanuts, as Peanuts, I think, made the move originally earlier on. They break as late as they can to close the door and stay ahead, and they do stay ahead, does Peanuts.
Yes, Simonson will remember the sprint race now. He has done it before, but from the P1 position. Maybe he was gonna try and do it from the P1 position again when he has saved enough ERS for it. But it's reversed from the sprint race now, him in P2 instead of P1.
Yeah, and he was actually surprised that Frantic didn't make the overtake up to the line. So I think he was actually hoping to be in P2. So if this is the case, they might not even make this move here on Verf until the final lap of the Grand Prix. We could get a top 3 train just riding all the way out to the end here. And Jericho Willis, although is sitting back, is going to be getting a very good opportunity at possibly making this move as well. If they could just get it on track, that would give them the best chance in this race to get the best result possible.
Yeah, and live from Barry is getting even easier now with Peanuts getting another penalty. So if he's not doing anything weird, he will get a P4 out of this race, and I think he would have been happy with it. I'm not sure what he was doing there. He was stuck in 6th gear. I've seen it before with this game that the upshifts are not working, but it seems like it's working back now.
Interesting. Yeah. Is that just a spectator glitch?
No. Oh, he's just spun around. This is commentator's curse, isn't it? D is in the wall.
That's very frustrating, unfortunately. Barry is going to have a big issue right there, spinning on the exit of the first chicane, getting damaged. It's going to be looking like a fastest lap attempt, I'd assume, right here for Sir Maxon, as I think Frantic holds it. I'm just going to double check that very quickly, that Frantic doesn't hold it, Jericho Willis does. So Barry might as well go for the fastest lap, unless, yeah, no, they're not going to be overtaken because the cars behind them right now are a lap down. So they will be able to go for a fastest lap cleanly and be absolutely fine. Terrence will get a promotion from this, of course, and if you look at the higher tier driver of Peanuts that is currently ahead of them, they are looking to score a solid 10 points to their championship, which would be brilliant indeed. We have to look though, lap 23 out of 25. These are the final stages, and it is really heating up. Verf is going to go for that move ahead of Sir Maxon. Sir Maxon doesn't seem too bothered, but also wasn't letting it go. They were going defensive slightly to the inside line. They might try and go again for the move. They have to do something, because Jericho Willis is there putting the pressure on, forcing them to do something. He goes to the inside line and almost made it work. Sir Maxon in turn will have to lead the Grand Prix. I don't think Sir Maxon wants to do this. I think he wants to be in P2, but Jericho Willis is doing everything that he should be to put the pressure on. He's now put the pressure on Verf. Verf goes off. DRS could be lost. I don't quite know what their intention was there, but that was a very risky move, and it could all be over. So Maxon could possibly have just won this Grand Prix.
No, I think he's just about staying with the DRS, but this was interesting. Maxon is pushing though on the DRS, so maybe he's getting just about out of the DRS now. I don't think he will. It's gonna be close though at the end. Yeah, I saw what Maxon was doing here. He was on none on the straight, so he was trying to bunch it all up. But Firth is gonna get just about the DRS, I believe. Yes, he is. He's still in it. So I would say stop using right now, because it's gonna get to the last lap.
That's incredibly lucky for Verf, but also incredibly unlucky for Sir Maxon, because now they've burnt all their energy to try and do that. They've taken that risk in the early stages of this Grand Prix endgame. It's not paid off. It's not paid off, and it's going to cause them big problems. They lose the car on the exit of the final corner, quite possibly out of frustration. They're just really frustrated that they've done that. It's not worked, and now Verf is going to be right behind them and ready to go. Verf has not got an easy battery situation either. Sir Maxon loses the car on entry as they lock the rears. They're pushing to their absolute limit. They realise they're in the same situation as they had with Frantic earlier on, but this time it might not be so easy. They were lucky once. Are they going to be lucky again? Jericho Willis is behind, but they are not quite in an overtaking opportunity as much as Verf would be with clean DRS, with no DRS train and just a clean shot at making this move.
Yeah, and you see the pressure on both drivers. Both are making mistakes in different corners. Both are missing apexes and losing the rear. And Firth is now so close behind with even more DRS than Maxon. So it's going to be a tough task for Maxon to stay in this position.
They know what they need to do. They need to bunch up the pack, and Verf is actually taking the bait. They're making the move. I think they're thinking that Sir Maxon will go for the move and then they can have a go into the final corner. That's exactly what Sir Maxon needed to do. The IQ is absolutely there for this championship leader. DRS will be available. Sir Maxon is going to go around the outside line. Jericho Willis is going to try and follow on as well. They're going to pick the inside line. It's 3 wide into the final corner on the final lap between the two championship rivals. It's not going to happen, and out of all of that, Sir Maxon still wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Jericho Willis gets to P2, Verf in P2 in the end. I don't know what to say. Verf is not going to be happy with that one. If Jericho Willis's time penalty is legitimate, they're not going to be happy, that's for sure. Peanuts in P4, Frantic, Terrence, and then it will be Barry looking for that fastest lap. Zanor will finish in P8. Wow, I don't know. How are you feeling if you were Verf right now, Heish?
Really got it. But I would smash my head as well because, to be honest, I would have done it differently. Don't overtake into or on that straight because everyone will re-overtake you on the next straight because the next straight is even longer than the straight he overtook Simaxon on. So I would be extremely gutted, but yeah, it's racing and he still came P2.
Yeah, you learn from it, but a brilliant result regardless. Some brilliant points. They almost had it once again here in LSI, but for now it will just not quite be. Simaxon wins again, and a massive points difference to their championship rival. Of course, Peanuts is a high tier driver, so Frantic will be promoted a position, but Simaxon leading the championship now leads it by even more. That is going to be absolutely huge. Peanuts gets driver of the day. We'll get the results on the screen very, very shortly just to confirm what we have. That is Simaxon winning, Verth in P2, then Jericho Willis with P3, Peanuts, Terrence, Frantic, Barry Kruger with the fastest lap, and then Zanor in P8. Aldebert left the session and is not going to be classified. PJ, Pursoon, Brothers Call, Rowinter DNFing earlier on. We will go through the race director, we will go through the incident section, and we will, of course, go through the pit stop section as well. We will be back for the post-race interviews. We will see you in a bit.